Earlier tonight on another site, I posted a video from quotes from George Orwell's 1984. Now, we all know 1984 is a book that, say, one political party seems to have fallen in love with to warn us about the dangers of a big brother type society. And I made the comment. Well, first of all, after I finished those quotes, then I made this comment. Those who talk about a 1984 society, or who rail against it, or who disagrees with a 1984 society, may be the same ones who bring it to reality. That is true. But by me mentioning these quotes, it doesn't mean I'm on that side. In fact, I'm on no one's side. But I'll let you think about that. If you've read my works over the years, you know that I've not mentioned one political party's ideology or another. I did grow up under Reagan and all the other presidents, Carter, Reagan, all the rest. So that shows you that I'm an old guy. But I'm an old guy who has written morals, or has read a lot because I went to college, was educated, and also learned a lot about human life and society and what have you. And what I find is that human society changes every generation. You know, my generation was Gen X. The generation before me were the boomers. The generation after me were the millennials, and now Gen Z. And each generation has their own ideas, have their own thoughts and dreams and hopes of what a society should be. And when persistent problems continue to come up in our society that are part of a system that people like to say is part of the reason why there's no equality right now, or when we see prejudice running rampant, and prejudice not in the form of race, but prejudice in the form of social status and also financial status as well. We have a lot to dream about and a lot to reach for, and yet this society, like all other societies, operates on a system, which, to my friends who know me, I say the gravy train. And as long as this country and other countries depend on a gravy train, meaning riches, lots of them, and also benefits that are not monetary or physical. But as long as we can continue to highlight the rich and famous and make them the Olympic gods and goddesses of this current day, then you can see why people are frustrated, display their frustration in a medium like this, and yet the same people are elected, the same people are in office, and the same people would tell you, or basically, as Orwell said, to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Nothing to see here. It's all a dream or a nightmare, depending on which way you look at it. Am I making sense? Hope I am. All I want to do is just say a few words. Maybe they mean something, maybe they don't. But really, we all want a better life. We all want to strive for the best in our families, our communities, even ourselves. I live in a community which now seems to be getting better, but 35 years ago, here in the same community, I had to live under the assumption that my life could be gone just like that. South LA was no joke. Of course, it was under a different terminology, but I've already discussed that. But you folks know what two books of mine are based on. But I can just say that living here, I have seen young men who I've seen in school no longer with us. People on my block, there are 3 houses on the opposite side of the street where I used to play basketball with some of the young men who did not die because of a gunshot, did not die because of a drive-by shooting. They died because of natural causes. The most recent one was heartbreaking because after I suffered my second stroke, he stopped by, visited, we talked, and then the next thing I know, he suffered his own stroke and he's no longer with us. He was loved by so many people. But that just shows you that life is but a vapor. It vanishes away. That's from another important book that I hope people will not be so sick in their heads to ban that one. But I digress. We live in an interesting time, the 21st century. But yet, didn't we always suspect it would be like this? I know, in the 1970s, Soylent Green and all the Planet of the Apes movies all dealt with a apocalyptic future, the Omega Man, right? That's what the 1970s, so if it wasn't horror, it was aimed towards a society, a futuristic society that was so messed up that you had albino zombies running around taking folks out. The Omega Man reference for you. But this is the society we live in today. And 50 years ago, The Exorcist. Just wanted to add that horror reference in there. But really, we live under such crazy times right now. Such crazy, unimaginable times. And we wonder, are we ever going to survive? I don't know. All I can just say is that we have to take each day as it comes. And each day is an adventure. You have to pay bills. You have to go out, take your kids to school. You have to be a parent, which is the hardest job in the world. I'm not one, but as a school teacher, I can tell it's a hard job. But life is just so funny. Life is just so amazingly funny that when I quoted Orwell tonight from 1984, I merely mentioned that's a society that a few individuals are pushing us towards. You know how they stand up in Washington, D.C., behind a podium and said, this is Big Brother type stuff. Yet, at the same time, they're okay with Big Brother. They want to control a certain segment of society which is beginning to understand and figure things out. That they realize what they've been told has not been true. But they want a Big Brother to come in and straighten it all out. Make life simple. Depend on Big Brother, not your fellow countrymen. But again, I digress. If I had a crystal ball, it would still be foggy inside, because there's no way of telling which way that we're going to be headed towards. Either we're going to be headed towards a society which I'm allowed to say my mind, I'm allowed the freedom to say, to express myself, to continue writing and to continue presenting morals and tales for people to enjoy, or I live in a society where my voice is threatened, shut down, closed. Not just from the group banning books, but the group who also believe that my thoughts are dangerous. As a black man, my thoughts are dangerous to a small segment of society. But I can tell you that I mean no harm. And as yet, I can tell you I mean no harm all I want to. What comes out of my mouth to the people watching this is that I mean harm. Somehow they'll voice modulate what I'm saying to you through technology and make it as to appear that I am against society and I want it to burn. I wish for the best of society. That's why I write so much about it, and that's why I each thing that I write, whether it be poems, or short stories, or the novel I just finished, Relay, I'm always hoping for the best from everyone. I've met and have friends from all races, ideologies, political, otherwise, and I can get along with these individuals because I get to know them as human beings. I get to know their heart. I get to know their spirit. I've broken bread with these people. I went to school with them. We enjoy each other's company as much as I enjoy theirs. So I have no problem. And yes, I have committed some wrongdoing too. I'm not a perfect guy in all of this, but I would say that I've always tried to do my best when it was appropriate. And other times, I'm just like everybody else. I fall and I come up short. But I mean no harm. So, my quotes tonight on the other site may provoke some conversation. At least that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it provokes conversation for the mind, the heart, the body, and the soul. I'm hoping that somehow, some way, we can talk out our differences. We can talk out where we're heading in this society and try to make those positive changes that will lead us on that road ahead. Robert Frost once mentioned about the two roads that we have to will face. One road can make all the difference in the world. The other road may take us in the path that's unknown and we don't know how it's going to turn out. But I can just tell you that as this country approaches those two roads diverged in the forest, in the wood, sorry if I got that wrong. I'm only hopeful that we will take the right road, the road to understanding each other, even if we happen to agree to disagree, but to treat each other with respect and with a touch of humanity. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching my diatribe, and take care.